Well, hello there. Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised on Radio. I'm one half of this show. I am Colt Brocado, my good friend Patrick Blair in Zoomland as usual. And dude, it's taken until almost June, but we finally have patio weather to just sit outside. Dude, it is a beautiful morning outside right now.
I haven't been
And I
outside.
say that because we got to sit down on a patio yesterday together for about 8 minutes. So that was fun.
I don't know if you saw, but I was a sweaty mess. So this is not beautiful weather to me. I hate humidity with a burning, fiery passion. I hate it. The whole drive home, I was just pissed at myself. Like, why did I go outside? Like, I'm just like, but
really?
Yeah.
It seems odd because you're like you did make the comment that if it was like 10 degrees cooler, it'd be perfect.
Yes. Listen, 80 degrees anywhere else in the country that doesn't have humidity is outstanding. But in this shitty Swampville we live in, 80 degrees means you're miserable, at least me.
Right.
But what can you do?
Yeah.
And I didn't leave because of the heat. I had a baby who was tired, but
he was very tired. That was freaking hilarious because like when you were trying to he was passed out in his car seat when you got there, and then you tried to get him up and he just kind of looked at you and then just passed out forward.
Yeah, he slumped over like he got shot in the chest, assassination style. It was pretty weird. But yeah, I don't know. Humidity's just, I always tell people when I go, I tell people my friends that live out of state, and just when I travel, someone will ask me where I'm from. And I'll tell them, and they'll say something, and they'll want to start chatting about St. Louis. And I usually try to avoid it so that the hateful things don't come out of my mouth to a stranger. But the one thing I will not avoid is we have and you know what, if you're out there and you're listening, you can challenge me, hit me up and let me know. And we'll get into a debate over this, but we have the worst weather in the United States of America. It's the worst. It's the worst. When we're talking about year-round weather, okay?
Yeah.
You get 6 weeks out of the year where it's just absolutely gorgeous. That's it. Maybe not even 6 weeks. And this year, I don't think we had 6 weeks. We'll have to see how this fall goes. But either way. And they'll go, oh, it's not, your winters are pretty bad. I'm like, yeah, have you come here during the summer? No, you haven't, because no one wants to come here during the summer. There's mosquitoes and swamp ass. That's it.
Dude, isn't this one of the years where like cicadas are supposed to come back in full force?
Is it? I have no idea.
You know what a cicada is?
Yes, I do. But I don't know if they're coming back. That's not to change topics too quickly. I know weather's very important discussion to have. I know that's an entertaining discussion to have on a podcast, but did you see that Joe Rogan's in trouble again?
I don't think so. For what?
The woke media has come after him again because he said on one of his shows recently that it's coming to a point where if you're a straight white male, you just can't have an opinion. I'm paraphrasing, I believe, but I think that's along the lines of what he said. And so people are at arms about it, obviously, because he's a straight white male and he can say whatever he wants. He's a very privileged individual. But I get what he was saying. He wasn't saying someone like him.
Yeah, right.
He was saying like corporate America. If you're a corporate guy, keep your opinions to yourself because you're going to get in trouble, Yeah. And not even a corporate guy. Like I was thinking about that too. Like I don't think if you're just a straight white male who has a regular job, regular Joe, watch what you have to say to people. I think most people now think they have to watch what they say, even if they're not a straight white male.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, no one's getting canceled at a higher rate than straight white men, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I don't know. It's weird because like straight white men are still the majority, right?
Yes. And historically the most privileged people on earth. Yes. I'm pretty sure we still.
That's what I mean. Like they're still a majority. So like, yeah, they would be the.
No, we are. And I'm saying we because I'm still straight and white and male. Well, look, well, let me ask you. The reason I bring it up, I want to know from you: should he even be in trouble for saying this? Because look, the woke mafia is going to come to get you eventually, and this is the second time for him technically, so it's to be expected. But should he? What does it mean? What does it mean that he said that? Like, what exactly? Why shouldn't he have said that? Take the other side. Be a woke person right now. Why shouldn't he say that?
I don't know that I can argue this.
So you agree with what Joe Rogan said?
I think so. Do you not?
No. No, because he's saying what he wants.
So you're saying he's being a hypocrite?
No, I get, like I said, I get what he wasn't talking about himself, but at the same time, do I think it's going to come to a point where if you're a straight white male, you can't have an opinion, or you can't? I think he may have even said something to the extreme of like they can't go outside, or something like that.
Okay, I mean that's a little over the edge.
And I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. Something along those lines. But no. I think you can say what you want, and you just have to be prepared for the consequences, depending upon who you are. If you're not someone who needs to be canceled, meaning if you don't register with the woke mafia and the woke media, then it doesn't matter.
So can we say what we want to say?
We can always say what we want to say.
No matter how controversial it is? Are we going to get canceled?
I don't know. Maybe. That would be great. I'm welcoming that with open arms. Well, it's like one of the comments on the, one of our videos was, you're telling me you're a straight white male without saying it, or something like that. Right?
Right, yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah. You really figured me out. But again, I don't believe in identity politics. My identity is not the fact that I'm white, straight. I guess male does have some sort of level of my identity, but like, I don't identify with those things, and I don't live my life just by those things. There's so much more to life than just being a straight white male,
So what about like this whole, I think I texted you the other day and told you that like Demi Lovato is now saying that she is non-binary.
Yeah, but she's a mentally ill person.
So they want, and we're supposed to call her by like they now. So not her, but they.
Why?
I don't know.
Who is she representing? By me calling, and I'll call anyone whatever they want to be called.
Right.
You want me to call you Napkin? I'll call you Napkin. But my point is, who is she representing by us calling her they?
I don't know.
Females? Straight females? Lesbian females? Bisexual females?
I don't know.
Transsexual females? Transgender females? Sorry, transsexual is the wrong word. Transgendered females? Who is she representing?
I don't know.
She's a mentally ill person.
I know.
Yeah, 100%. Look, that's fine. Like I said, I'll call you what you want. But and this is the other thing too. So we kind of, what was the reaction to that? I didn't pay attention. What was the reaction?
I haven't really seen, and that I was hoping that you had, because I want to know what people are saying, or if people care or not. Like, do you think this was an attention grab, or do you think this is, she really, like, this is what she wants her identity to be now?
Do I think a person who has had years and years of issues with mental health and drugs and sobriety, depression, anxiety, do I think them publicly on social media coming out as non-binary is an attention grab? No, not a chance. She's got all her marbles. Do you think it is?
I feel like it is.
Okay.
What if, okay, you just mentioned Joe Rogan a while ago. What if Joe Rogan came out and said he's non-binary now? What would you think then?
I would say he's been hitting himself in the head with kettlebells and not telling anyone.
Okay.
but maybe he's changed his mind. That's the
So
thing.
no matter what, to be non-binary, you have to be sick in the head, or not.
I
That
don't.
sounds bad. Not sick in the head, but have to have issues. Is what you're saying?
It sounds like that's what I'm saying, but I'm not. I'm saying for a person to be.
This is a hard conversation to tiptoe around, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, look. Okay. If you so name a place you go to often around your house.
Say Casey's
Casey's.
gas
Perfect.
station.
You
Okay.
often probably see the same employees at Casey's, right? You go there in the
Correct.
morning, get coffee. Maybe you stop there at lunch. Maybe you stop there on your way home. You see the same people, right?
Okay.
Do you know one by name?
No.
Let's say one of the employees at Casey's comes out as non-binary.
Okay.
It doesn't have, to me, it doesn't mean the same thing as someone who's been in the public eye for years and years and years and years and has been giving their opinions for years and years and years and years. And then for them to come out and all of a sudden do a complete 180 in the public eye, yeah, I'm going to question that.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
If Gertrude, that's a cashier at Casey's, and I'm not insulting anyone named Gertrude or anyone that works at Casey's, that's an honest living. But if they come out as non-binary, I go, maybe that person, they're going through some shit. They're trying to figure it out. I don't know that person. They're not in the public eye. I haven't heard them speak on these topics, right?
Okay.
I don't know the fact that maybe Gertrude has been struggling with a meth addiction for many, many years, but I don't know that because she's not in the public eye. Okay. In these two situations, or these two examples we're talking about here, Demi Lovato has been in the public eye and has had major, major issues. And I want her to, and she should get help, and I want her to be better. And I'm not dismissing those issues by any means. So what I'm saying is, and Joe Rogan the same way, he's been in the public eye for so long. He's been speaking out publicly against things. He has publicly stated that non-binary and the pronoun landscape of where we kind of find ourselves now with having to call people by certain pronouns, he has called it bullshit on many, many occasions. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you could go on YouTube right now and Google Joe Rogan pronouns. You'll find some video of him shitting on it. So in these two situations, what I'm saying is I'm dismissive of the idea with them.
Okay.
Because I have publicly seen them unravel in some sort of way. So at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter to me, is what I'm saying. And it doesn't. If you want to be non-binary, if you want me to call you they, if I ever see you, Demi Lovato, I will certainly do that. If I slip up, though, you can't be angry with me.
See, that's where it gets tricky, right? Because
no, I don't think so. Because for my entire life, I've been calling people he and she and her and him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you have to expect me to not know all the rules or just to slip up, you know?
I mean, this is a new thing. This is like over the past, maybe 2 years?
I would say it's a little bit longer than that, but
is it?
Yeah, I think so. But
and I want to know, like, how does that change your life? We need to have somebody that's non-binary on the show that can explain this to us. Because, like, how does saying you're non-binary and like change your life for the better? I would assume you would think it's going to change it for the better.
Does it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not going to pretend I have an idea. The only idea that I do have is that, again, if you were someone who lives their life by getting attention and being in the public eye, when you do these extreme things, and yes, it is an extreme thing. I know it's just a pronoun, but you're also asking of people that they change the way they interact with other human beings, which is a lot to just do with the flip of a switch. So,
right.
Yes. So if you're someone who lives in the public eye, yeah, probably it gets you more of that attention that you need.
Yeah.
Just a guess. But in things that matter to me, it's very, very low on the list. In things that I'm going to fight against or things that I'm going to debate, very low on the list. Very low. But that takes me back to Joe Rogan. So the problem that I have with this whole situation is, I think on the last show, maybe I talked about how opening up the dialogue and listening to people who have opinions that are different than yours, being able to just have the conversation in a non-confrontational way or in an educational way is so important. So why can't Joe Rogan say what he said? And then these people who want to just cancel him right off the bat, why can't they engage in the debate and say why it is a problem rather than just saying, well, he said it, so we're done. You know, having the debate is important.
Right.
Not saying everyone should, because everyone can't. They're not capable, but it's important.
Yeah, but I think too many people think that there shouldn't be a debate about it because it just kind of is what it is.
Well, that's what's sad about our country then.
For sure.
You could say the same thing about something, in my opinion, more important, like racism, and it just is what it is. So we can't talk about it, so it just is what it is. So we're never, ever going to be unified as a people,
right?
As a race, as a human race. We're never. Forget about utopia. We're just always going to be different. We're just always going to disagree. So let's just forget about it. It is what it is.
You're taking down the route of we're causing more division on our own.
Yes. How are we not, if we can't even talk about it?
Right.
You know?
Well, but people will get offended. We can't have that.
It's okay to be offended. It's okay. You know what happens? You get offended and life goes on. The problem is you get offended and then you reduce yourself to this shell of a person. And now you can only interact with people who think like you, think and act like you. It's ridiculous.
It is crazy.
Well, let me bring this up. So I saw that, and again, this goes back to the conversation. Forget about debate. It doesn't even have to be a debate. It can just be a conversation with one person stating their opinion, another person stating their opinion that might be different, and them just talking. It doesn't have to be a screaming, like sort of, we have this like negative connotation when it comes to debate now also, where debate has to be like Fox News or CNN, where it's just a bunch of talking heads screaming at each other, screaming over the top of each other. And there's no real point made.
It's got to be entertaining.
What's that?
It's got to be entertaining.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the public, yeah, debate needs to be entertaining, sure. But I'm saying us as people not in the public eye.
Yeah.
You know, and again, so back to the being able to have the conversation. So I guess Joe Biden came out and said that he's going to have the George Floyd's family at the White House on the 1-year anniversary of his death, which I guess is coming up soon, right? Either way,
it'll be soon.
Yeah, it's got to be soon. So I saw a bunch of bullshit online with people just like, of course, hateful about it and just, you know, okay, why would they deserve this day? Okay, fine. All right. First of all, my thing to those people is, how does that impact your life?
Right.
For you to feel so strongly about that.
Right.
Secondly, if you do feel so strongly about it, find another way to talk about it rather than just dynamically centering the conversation just about race. Right? Now,
so okay, give me an example though. What's another way to talk about it?
You could bring up the idea of like, have we really made any progress since the death of George Floyd?
Okay.
Have we as a nation made any progress? Have we as a nation made any progress since the Derek Chauvin or however you say his name, trial? Have we done anything? Right. That's an honest question to ask in that situation. If you feel so strongly about George Floyd showing up to the White House, take that approach instead of just making it about black versus white, black versus police. And, you know, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just so fed up with there's just every conversation just being racially based. And I understand that it's a commonplace for people that's where the conversation starts, or that's where the anger starts. That's where the frustration lives. And I get that, but you can't immediately dismiss someone just because they want to take the conversation beyond race to somewhere else that perhaps could be more positive.
True.
And I'm not pretending to know that I have all the answers. I don't.
Right.
But I also don't have a problem that his family goes to the White House. I'd rather focus on something a little more important. I'm not saying that it's not important. What's more important to me is getting along with my neighbors. And I'm not just saying my neighbors who are different than me or have a different skin color than me. I'm saying all of the people that surround me in my life. It's more important for me to know that those people know that I'm not a piece of shit. Right. Know that my family is not, we're not pieces of shit. You know?
Do you have anybody that you're close to, or anybody in your circle that goes like automatically to race on these kinds of conversations and stuff, or no?
No, for sure. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and if I can't have an honest conversation with them, I just avoid it.
Yeah.
I know I appear to be on this podcast an incredibly critical, the word hateful has been used. I'm hating, critical, sort of negative person about things. And believe me, I am. But again, I'm having fun on this show when I'm criticizing Miley Cyrus or Demi Lovato or whatever, or someone who I find to be just kind of a silly goose. I don't know the person. Mm-hmm. So I only know what I see in the public eye, or what's given to the public eye. So, but that's the thing. I wouldn't get upset if someone watched this show or listened to this show and said that guy's a real tool because he doesn't like Miley Cyrus. I probably am a tool. You're probably right. I put myself in that position by doing a podcast and talking about silly things. But if I can't have the conversation with them, then I don't. If I know it's going to be heated, if I know it's going to be angry, and the reason that I don't is because I myself am trying to be a more positive person around real things. Again, I know on the podcast I seem like I'm a hater, but in real life, I used to be an angry fucking person, man. I used to walk around angry about a lot of shit. And it wasn't, and I believe me, I'm not fixed, but I'm trying. One of the things that I've learned, or one of the issues that I've learned not to get so emotional about, because I used to, is race. I used to take major offense to when someone, and honestly, it's kind of like two different sides of things. When someone said I had white guilt, for instance, if someone said that to me, it would really bother me.
Yeah.
It would really bother me because I don't feel that I do. Right. If someone told me I have white privilege, just, blanket sort of, you have white privilege because you're white, straight male, whatever. Okay. But how do you know that? I don't know. I do have white privilege because I am a white male in the United States of America.
Just a general statement.
Just the generality of it all just bothers me.
Right. Not like an actual instance, but just a matter of, you have white privilege. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then just conversations about race that were just automatically combative and divisive and very, there's no means to an end. There's no resolution. There's no, like I said, happiness behind it. There's no, we can move forward. I just don't get involved in those anymore. I didn't grow up in a racially driven world. I consider myself pretty lucky. I grew up around all different kinds of people and in various points of my life.
Which I'm the opposite of that because I didn't. I mean, the area where I grew up. I mean, we're talking, there was only maybe 5 kids at the most that weren't white that I went to school with.
That's scary for them.
That's crazy. It's weird. It's really weird. So like me and you were on the opposite sides of the spectrum as far as that goes, like how we grew up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. That's real world. That happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So look, either you and I should be able to have an open, honest conversation about race and about what you know and what I know and what you don't know and what I don't know, or we shouldn't have it at all.
Right.
And it's simple. Us fighting about it, It just creates more friction, more tension, a greater divide at the end of the day. But I consider myself lucky in that sense. So I didn't grow up knowing any different. Didn't see anyone as different than me. Now, look, there are obvious surface differences between people. I get that. And I hate when people use that as an example too. It's like, duh. Like that's kind of what I want to say to them. Because I've been reduced to like thinking like a toddler, you know, of course, you know, we do things differently, but so what?
Right.
But so my whole point is, you know, I didn't grow up that way. So now as an adult, why would I engage in the negative part of that? Why not talk about the positive? My experience has been positive. And for the people who are not like me, that befriended me and have remained my friend over many, many years,
they're very
trusted me.
What you're trying to say.
What's that?
So they're very strong-willed is what you're trying to say.
Definitely. But they deserve to be commended because I'm sure it's not easy.
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly, I just, you know, I'm not saying they should get, you know, but commended in the sense that like, oh, you can see past the bullshit. You can see beyond the bullshit and live your life. That, I guess that's what I'm talking about. And again, I always sort of reduce this to that like kumbaya, we are the world shit. But like, I don't know. Wouldn't we be in a better place if everything was like that?
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
be honest.
it makes sense, and it's easier said than done. But it's just like there shouldn't be bullshit. Like I mean, we've all lived together for this long, together on the same planet in the same areas. Why is it still a thing?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean,
why is there still bullshit? It doesn't make sense. Now there's bullshit out there. There's legit bullshit out there. But I think a lot of it is drummed up for no reason. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, George Floyd's family going to the White House. Okay. The media coverage of that and the way that is handled, that is exactly what the powers that be, and I'm sorry, so people being on extreme ends of it and disagreeing on it and fighting over it is exactly the kind of division that the powers that be want. It's the perfect situation to just keep us divided, right? With all those people in the middle, battling it out. And then someone like you and myself go, oh boy, now what do we do? Another thing.
I mean, okay, in that situation in general, taking George Floyd's family to the White House, do you think that's a good call? Do you think it matters? Do you think it's more of a perception thing than anything?
I think it has a lot to do with optics, yes, because of who was in the White House.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
But again, that should be common sense to everyone. And what I just said right now should not be a controversial statement. We as a people have to have a certain perception of how the White House operates. Okay. Now, if you were to ask me, hey, if Trump were still in office and George Floyd's family went to the White House, would it be a big deal? Yes. Yes. Because so much of what was going on at the time, because so much of what was going on at the time with the protest and with the handling of the protest and the overall social divide that was going on at the time, a lot of it was blamed specifically on Trump. So for him to invite that family to the White House would be a big deal.
Now, you're saying in a positive way.
I don't know. That's what I don't know. We're never going to know. I don't know if it would be positive. I don't know if it would be negative. But it would be a big deal. It would be a bigger deal. It still is a big deal. I don't want to reduce this to something that's just optics, but it is optics. Yeah, they should go. I mean, look, their family member was used as a launching pad for social discord. That fucking sucks, man.
For sure.
You know, I wouldn't know unless I was put in the situation. But if a family member of mine was murdered by a police officer, and then, you know, for an entire year, essentially, the entire country would be, you know, battling over it. Would I want some sort of something, anything like a trip to the White House, someone, a politician, anyone to fucking reach out to me and make me feel like there's a little bit of control over what's going on? I don't know. Maybe, probably. Yeah. I can't speak for the family. I'm not in the family. I'm not impacted the same way, obviously, but
I mean, as you said, it's been going on a year. I just wonder, I'm not in that situation, so I don't know, but I almost wonder if maybe I would just be like, let's not do this. Like, let's not make a big, it's been going on for a year.
Yeah.
Let's just let everything die down and not do this. Now we're, taking them to the White House and doing media coverage on it and all that kind of stuff just kind of breaks everything back open.
I agree. No, you're right. But let me be very clear. The people that I'm talking about that were saying stuff online about this, look, if you react to the story of the Floyd family going to the White House in a way that drives you to social media and makes you leave a negative comment about it, you're scum of the earth. You really are.
For sure.
You really are. You're not a good person. It's preposterous enough that anyone going to the White House would bother someone like you or I. Again, general sort of Joe Schmo. That's preposterous enough within itself. And I'm talking about anyone going to the White House. Every year when a team wins the title, depending upon who's the White House now, every year moving forward now, we're going to talk about, are they going to go?
Right.
So the idea that it even matters to us in general is stupid.
Does it matter for us to does it matter to you if a team says I'm going or I'm not? Does that bother you at all?
Does not matter to me at all.
Right. Okay. I'm the same
way.
Does
not matter to me at all. It did bother me a little bit when Tom Brady didn't go meet Obama.
Okay. And then I'm not Tom Brady in general, but like I understand like a team or players or whoever is trying to make a statement by not going. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it does bother enough people when they say they are going or they're not going. But to me, it's like whether you go or not, it doesn't bother me. So whatever your choice is.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with Tom Brady, it just rubbed me the wrong way because he wasn't really making a statement. He was just very pompously and passive aggressively not going. Tom Brady wasn't making a statement by not going. It was just, I'm Tom Brady and I'm very arrogantly not going to show up because look, the only statement you are making is that I'm Tom Brady and I'm more popular than Barack Obama. Right. I don't know. That's just the way that I saw it. But again, my point was going to be it's stupid enough for us to care. And then it's even worse if we have to take to social media and be hateful. And again, make the conversation about race and this and that. Like, look, we can have as many opinions as we want about Joe Biden. Him having the Floyd family at the White House should be a positive thing.
Yes, it should be.
It should be. But as we all know, to keep us fighting, to keep us angry at each other, it's not going to be, for the most part. I think it is positive, and I think some people will find positivity in it, but I don't know. It was just, I don't even know why to be honest with you, I don't even know why I clicked on the story. It was almost like I needed to see the comments. I needed to know, like, here we go. I shouldn't even have clicked on it. I should have just read the headline and go good and moved on with my day. But I got sucked in. But what can you do? Speaking of getting sucked in, I want to change topics because we're getting political here. You know what I watched before we started this today? So
Roadhouse.
No, but that was a good guess because I do watch that often. The A&E did a documentary on Roddy Piper.
No shit, really?
Which is one of my favorites of all time. He is one of my favorites of all time.
Really? Okay.
It was really good. It was a really good documentary.
Okay.
But I was thinking to myself, so if you can catch it, if you can watch it, try and watch it. It's very good. But what I was thinking to myself is I am not a wrestling fan as an adult. It is something I watched as a kid because honestly, every kid around me was watching it. And, as an adult, I can't. I actually tried fairly recently. I turned it on and I was like, let me just watch this and see what it does to me. Like, let me just see what it does to my. I lasted maybe 5 minutes. I was like, this is just not. It's just not for me anymore. But
Yeah.
I am fascinated by watching these documentaries about the guys from when I was growing up and just learning more. Because of these documentaries, you learn about the wrestling business a little bit. It's fascinating to me. It is a fascinating industry.
Yeah, I remember you were going on and on about like the Ric Flair 30 for 30. That was one of your favorites too.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
That one, this Rowdy Roddy Piper one now. And there's the Vice does these Beyond the Ring it's like a mini series that they do on specific wrestlers. And they've done so many good ones. They did one on Chris Benoit.
I watched that one. That one was pretty dark.
It's pretty dark. It's a lot, but it was good.
Yeah.
They did one on Bret Hart, but Bret Hart's documentary that came out years ago around the whole Montreal screw job. That was a great documentary.
Yeah.
You learn about the inside of that business. And it's like, to me, it's fascinating, but I think I probably feel that way if I learned, I like watching any documentary that kind of takes me on the inside of, it doesn't have to even be entertainment. Like I love documentaries, although they're getting kind of old now because how many can you fucking do? But when they started, I mean, this has probably been years now, but documentaries about drug cartels and that whole business. And I recently watched, I don't remember what it's called, the show, but they talk about businesses that screw people over. I can't. Anyway, really cool. Like I'm very interested in that just to learn about that stuff. Yeah. So I was watching this, what most people don't talk about, because wrestling is just this $1 billion industry now. And you have so many stars and, most people don't talk about, who the first guy to go to Hollywood was, the first wrestler? Fucking Rowdy Piper.
Yeah, true.
The first guy to do it.
Yeah.
Did They Live? He's the pioneer of a wrestler going, I need a backup plan. And that's how he said it. He goes, I can't do wrestling forever. I need a backup plan. So let me go test these Hollywood waters.
Right. Well,
the first guy to fucking do it.
Well, what about didn't Andre the Giant do something?
That was after.
That was after Roddy Piper, really?
That was long after They Live, yeah. Yep.
No way, really? Huh. Yep. Okay.
So I found that to be very interesting too, because if you look at guys like The Rock and John Cena, let me think. Hulk Hogan was pretty big in Hollywood there for a while, but The Rock, John Cena, who's someone else? I mean, Batista, to be honest with you, has a giant, movie career now.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of shit. When you look at guys like that, it kind of seems like kind of a normal thing now, I guess. If you are in the wrestling industry, for you to get into Hollywood, if you're kind of this larger than life character, you have a good shot, right?
Did you ever hear about, and we don't have to go into this, but Randy Orton, you know who Randy Orton is?
I do, but that's a period of wrestling that I did not watch at all, but I just know him.
Right. Well, the reason I ask, he's a St. Louis guy, but there's a story where he was, so I think it was like the third Marine movie. Have you seen any of the Marine movies that John Cena did?
No.
I think Ted DiBiase did one of them, maybe. Anyways, Randy Orton was supposed to be the star of one of them because he was actually in the military and went AWOL at one point. So the perception of him actually doing that movie, they couldn't do. I thought that was an interesting backstory.
What branch of the military was he?
I don't remember.
And the movie's just called Marine?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I mean, fuck, that's creative. What the fuck? You said John Cena's in it? I've never heard of this before. Also, you said Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase is 75 years old. How is he playing a Marine?
His son, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Oh, I had no idea he had a son. I was like, why is the $1 Million Man doing movies? He's an old man. I was like, was he the grandfather of one of the Marines? Like, what is he doing?
Let's see. I'm looking at Marine movie. Okay, so John Cena, it's called The Marine.
Again,
he did the first one.
extremely
and
creative.
Then, so Ted DiBiase Jr. did the second one, and then The Miz did the third one.
The Miz is in movies, huh?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh,
No.
there's a fourth one too. Who did that? Is that The Miz again? And yeah, The Miz and Summer Rae. Do you know who Summer Rae is?
I don't have any idea what that is.
Moving
But
Target.
good for The Miz.
Didn't The Miz start out on like one of those reality shows?
He was on The Real World, yes.
Real World, okay.
The Real World, Back to New York. Here's why I know that. Here's why I so quickly knew how to answer that question. So that was actually a really, really cool season of The Real World. Here's why. And this is back when The Real World was like The Real World. It was still a very popular show. That season was especially good and especially cool to me because they worked for a record label. They worked for Arista Records. Their job at Arista Records was to help get one of their bands off the ground. Well, that band they were trying to get off the ground was a band called From Zero back in the nu metal days. And they were nu metal. So they were, Arista was taking on Arista. Before that was primarily a hip hop R&B label. They wanted to dip their hands into the nu metal, craze that was happening. So this band From Zero, which I was actually a fan of, was on The Real World quite a few times. So I paid attention to that season.
Gotcha.
Really good band, by the way. Their first record is, I may have talked about it when we had Joel on and we were talking about nu metal. Yes, I did. I mentioned it. Their record is called, the first record's called One Nation Under. It's front to back a great record. They were on tour with Deftones. This is back, it was 2003, I guess, maybe.
Okay.
And they came to St. Louis, and I didn't know who they were. But this is back when you did a tour. They had, I think Deftones probably had 4 or 5 bands on the tour. So what they did was, this is at Verizon or Riverport, whatever you know it as. They had main stage, which was essentially 3 bands. And then they had a small stage at the entrance of the place where 2 bands were going to kind of open up the evening. Well, From Zero was one of those bands. Okay. I remember watching, just being blown away, being like, holy shit, who the fuck is this? So I started following them after that, looked them up, started following them, bought the record, then read in a magazine. God, this is back when you would buy magazines from a store and learn about things. Read in a magazine that they were going to be featured on this season of The Real World. So I was like, I gotta watch this. So there you go. The Miz was on The Miz was on that season. That was a long way of answering. Yes, he was on The Real World, but yeah, The Miz was on that season. But I remember hearing stories. Actually, I think I might have been reading about this too. But when he tried to break into professional wrestling, he got hazed like crazy. They treated him like shit because he was a reality TV guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And look at him now. That should be an inspiring story, right? Because he always, like, on The Real World, talked about how he wanted to be a professional wrestler and everybody goofed on him. They think, you're not going to be a professional wrestler, douchebag. Look at him now. Right. And I mean, he had to like work at it and actually do it. Like I said, because if you know people that know the business, again, this is just what I hear, but if you know people that follow professional wrestling closely, they know that guy got treated like shit and had to earn it. So I don't know. That's kind of an inspiring story. Right. I don't know. Maybe not.
It is. It's funny that like he makes it into wrestling and is a huge star and then goes back to reality TV and stuff too.
Is he on reality TV?
I don't know if he still does. Yeah, him and his wife do a reality show. Okay. One of those about their life kind of shows.
Like Gene Simmons' Family Jewels?
Sure.
I just brought that up because I saw it on the guide and I was like, God, I hate Gene Simmons. I can't turn this on. I can't do this to myself. I was like, maybe I should have things to talk about, or I could have Gene Simmons impressions for this, but my favorite one was, can I interest you in a kiss coffin?
We could.
No, you can't.
We could do that. We could start watching reality TV shows and then bring that to the podcast.
I really don't want to.
You start with Kardashians.
Oh. Who is the Mrs. wife?
I don't remember her name. I can picture her.
Is she a wrestler?
She was a wrestler also.
Really?
Yeah. Hang
Hmm.
on. It's going to bother me if I don't figure it out.
What network
Let's
is this spectacular show on?
I don't
You
know.
can I guess? Can I guess USA? It has to be a USA show.
Probably.
One of those.
Maurice. What's her name? Or is her
Sure,
name?
sure it is. Yeah, I know who that is.
Yep. I'm
Do
sure
you
do.
remember when USA was like pretty much a porn channel?
No. For what? Like
For
movies, you mean? What?
masturbation? I don't know. What do you mean? Why is anything a porn channel? um, yeah, it used to be like because it was like USA After Dark. It would just be tit flicks, man. It would just like I just remember this like I don't know. I can't remember specifically the name of anything, but yeah, it would just be because like okay, I know you know about Skinamax. Everyone knows the term Skinamax. I think that's what it was, if I'm remembering correctly. Google that. Google USA After Dark. Here, I'll do it.
You're gonna do it?
But I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It was called USA After Dark.
I think so.
Hey, before we move on though, when you were talking about the Real World a second ago, wasn't Christina P on the Real World also?
The comedian? No, she was on.
Yeah.
God, I'm so. Why can I answer these so quickly?
Or Road. Wait.
She was on Road Rules.
Road Rules. Okay.
Yes. Oh no, it was called USA Up All Night.
Up All Night.
Also known as Up All Night with Rhonda Shear. Genre: variety sketch comedy. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Presented by Gilbert Gottfried, Rhonda Shear. Synopsis: the program consisted primarily of low-budget films bookended by in-studio or on-location comedy skits featuring the show's hosts. Okay, that's not what I'm thinking of. The movies air range from cult classics to B movies to other fare, not appearing on television frequently. Up All Night would regularly show sexploitation films with the explicit content edited out. Maybe that's not. You know what? Okay, when did this come on? Original release January 7th, 1989 to March 7th, 1998. And this will be on for 6 hours. So you would literally start watching this at midnight when you're a kid and stay up for 6 hours just watching this smut. It was great. Yeah, so that's what I guess that's what I'm thinking of. So sexploitation films. Yeah, that makes sense. Like it wasn't actual porn like porn as we know it today, but I'm saying it was like 1998 US came under fire under the new management of Barry Diller and decided to go for a more general and upscale viewership. This meant many of USA's long-running series were either overhauled or canceled. Up All Night ended up among the latter. The network relieved Shear and Gottfried of their hosting duties while still by 2002, the Up All Night name, music, and graphics were completely removed from the films. You know what they used to show? Maybe not. I think they used to show Elvira movies. Do you know who Elvira is? You don't?
I think I've heard that name before, but I don't know.
Oh, man.
Who is she?
Let me just give you the Google version of who she is. Google a picture of her while I'm doing this.
Elvira.
She's known as the Mistress of the Dark. And she had some titties.
Elvira. No, that's not how you spell Elvira.
There's still Elvira.com.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Dude, what is... Huh. This was a show?
No, she was a personality, but she had her own movies. So I think one of her movies were played on USA Up All Night. That was my point.
It only got 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So 48% of people who get paid to write for Rotten Tomatoes said they don't like it.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
Rotten Tomatoes is a fucking joke. Anyone that uses Rotten Tomatoes as an example of a movie is good or bad, you suck.
The horror movie hostess turns a puritanical community on its ear when she arrives in town to claim her inheritance.
Yes. Okay. So in this movie, I'm pretty sure this is the movie. My wife and I just watched this recently, and we were like, "Oh my god, you would never." They couldn't get away with it today. So what happened is she's at like a picnic, and she casts a spell on everyone and makes them have orgasms. So you have like all these old ladies.
What the hell?
Old ladies. You look like all these old ladies like orgasming and all these dudes like jizzing in their pants, and she's just sitting back enjoying it all. Dude, it was so crazy. This is the shit I used to watch as a kid. No wonder I'm so fucked up. My wife always is like, "Why didn't you just watch Disney movies?" I'm like, "Because I watch shit like this." I've never seen a Disney. I've seen like 2.
How'd you watch it like this movie recently?
It was on one of those weird channels we have, like Comet, or one of those like Comet shows often like old weird B horror movies and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that's what we watched it on.
Okay.
But I stopped on it and I said, "Hey, do you remember her?" And she goes, "Of course." And then so we just started. I was like, "Oh my God," I figured you'd call me a pervert or be like, "You probably used to masturbate to her or something," which I did. But so I was like, "Let's just watch it for 10 minutes." And we were like, "Holy fuck." Like, anyway, I don't know. I don't even know how we ended up there. USA.
Yeah, somehow we got from Randy Orton to Elvira.
That's good. I think I'm back on the LeBron James train.
Why?
Because of that shot he hit against the Warriors the other night.
I did see that. I didn't watch the game, but I did see the highlights.
I'm not back on the train, but because I'm definitely not going to be rooting for him to win. But
yeah,
I was rooting for him to beat the Warriors because I cannot stand. I don't. I'm not a Steph Curry fan.
I think you're in the minority there because there is a lot of hype around Steph Curry right now.
Yeah, whatever. Did he make the playoffs? Sure didn't. But do you know? And I'm just bringing this up because of a stat. Do you know that was LeBron's like 73rd game, go ahead or game winning shot of his career?
Right.
But people still don't call him clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, there was I seen that, and there were like comparisons again between him and Kobe and him and Michael Jordan and how many they have versus how many he has and all that other stuff. And
he has the second most of all time, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Who was first? Kobe, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying, man. So it got me thinking because that stat was impressive. And I always backed him up on this. I go, just because he passes the ball late in the game doesn't mean he doesn't want to take the fucking shot. It has nothing to do with that. You can go all the way back to and go watch the documentary that's on Netflix right now about his high school team. You can go all the way back to high school and see him passing the ball and distributing the ball late in the game. He wasn't afraid to take the last shot in high school. He was a mythical character in high school. No one thought they were as good as him. No one thought that they were going to beat him. So he wasn't afraid to take the last fucking shot. He's a smart basketball player.
Yeah.
He knows that the higher percentage shot is the guy that's fucking open and not the guy that has the entire team guarding him.
Right.
Right. So like you can go back and watch him do this in high school. It's always been a thing that he does. But so like it got me thinking about that and thinking about what is my biggest gripe, personally with LeBron James. It's the shit that he says. He's a fucking baby.
Yeah.
He's just a baby.
Yeah.
Like when he hit the shot, he's like, "Oh, my eye." Like, "Oh God, you're such like just move on."
Yeah.
You hit the shot, your eye doesn't matter anymore. Like it's one thing to complain about your eye after you get poked in the fucking eye, right? "Oh, it hurts. I'm gonna act like I can't see." But you hit the fucking shot. Stop talking about your eye. That's just one of those, and that's just that's like such a small detail too. But like,
well, I mean, it goes back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is the whole flopping thing and all that, and faking fouls and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's baby. You're a freaking adult.
But that's the thing. Like doing it on the court, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me as much as if he did it on the court and then got in front of me and said, "No, I was fouled," or "Yeah, it fucking hurt," or "Yeah, it was a smart play," taking the charge, acting like I fucking got shot. You know. But he doesn't. He goes in the media and then finds ways to be an even bigger baby with his mouth. That's always been my biggest problem with him. And look, it's probably not the easiest fucking thing to do is to get in front of the media and be well prepared for these stupid questions and basically be under scrutiny and criticism since you're 15 years old. You know, probably not easy. You're probably not going to make the best decisions all the time. But now we know why Michael Jordan was such a recluse.
Yeah.
Look, people go, "No, he wasn't. He talked to the media." Yeah, he did, but not the same way. Not the same way. He would get followed. He would be very cryptic and he would move on, you know? And you find that out when you watch that Last Dance documentary. You go, oh God, there was a whole other side to him that we didn't know because he didn't let us know it. We know who LeBron is. At least we think we do, because he just constantly just, and again, I want to make it very clear for those listening. I'm not talking about the social justice stuff. I'm glad he does that. He should use that platform in a positive way. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about him being a baby in the basketball. That's what I'm talking about. I got to make that clear.
Yeah.
But if you want to cancel me because you think I'm talking about that, again, I welcome that with open arms. Go ahead and try.
I might actually have to go back and watch Last Dance again.
Oh, it's so good. I rewatched it for the second time a couple months
ago.
Yeah. It as soon as it got on Netflix, I watched it again.
Gotcha.
I skipped around though. I didn't do it in order because there were episodes that I liked more than others. I kind of skipped around. I might not even have watched all of them. I think I just watched my favorites and then moved on. But yeah, it's really good, man. That guy. That's why I said to you on the last when we were talking about LeBron. You were like, I wonder what Jordan thinks about this, and you're like, maybe he hasn't been asked. I was like, I'm sure he's been asked, but he doesn't give a fuck about LeBron. LeBron never did anything to him. Let LeBron say something about Mike now. Mike's going to hold a grudge, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. And I don't, to be honest with you, I think the only reason that LeBron cares about being mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan is because people have made him care. I think had originally when he started his career, he probably didn't think about it and maybe internally thought, I'm going to be the best player ever. But I probably won't have to answer questions about it because people won't try. Or maybe that's an ignorant approach that he would never take. But when he did come out and say I'm the best player in the world, I was like, ugh, why?
Yeah, you don't say that.
Yeah, it's just ugh.
Like even if you do have an ego that tells you that and you actually feel that way, you just don't say it. It's gross.
It is gross. It's like a comedian saying, I murdered on stage. Did you? Did you?
I love how you say it too. You say it just like they say it too.
I murdered. Out of here, you fucktard. Did you? Are people dead? Could they not leave their seat because they died in their seat? Ugh. Does that bother you as much as it does me? No, it's one thing for you to say someone else murdered. That's fine. You know, but to say you murdered, it's just, I don't know.
I don't know that I've heard anybody say like that they themselves murdered.
Oh, what?
You
want me to start naming names?
Maybe I will. Like I've heard Rogan say that a lot but he's talking about other people.
That's fine. That's great. He should. While it is at times wrong, he should. I mean, I'll name names if you need to go find videos of people going, I murdered. No, you didn't. Everyone walked away alive. You didn't murder anything.
You just love to hate.
No, I don't like people that talk about themselves that way. It's just gross to me.
Yeah.
I would feel the same way if a band got off stage after a performance and go, God, we just fucking murdered that crowd. I'm like, did you? I don't know.
Conor McGregor can do it and you're fine with it though?
What do you mean?
Like just hype himself up and talk about being the best fighter in the world and this, that, and the other.
All right. Now what you just did pissed me off. He's about to go fight someone. Not go tell jokes or play music. I want to be very clear that there is a distinct difference. So I'm okay with you getting yourself pumped up enough to go not get hit in the face too much to where you don't get knocked out.
Okay, but what if
or perhaps get murdered?
If you tell people, or if you say in the media that you're the best fighter in the world,
okay with it.
You're okay with it.
Yep, he's fighting. It's different than basketball.
Says, I'm the best basketball player in the world. That's different.
It is different to me.
Fighting and one's not.
Correct.
Huh.
Yep.
But a little hypocritical, but whatever.
But assume that role at your own risk, because now you said you're the best fighter in the world. There are a million guys who want to fucking punch you in the face and prove you wrong. But guess what?
True.
If they do punch you in the face and they don't prove you wrong and you still win, you look like a goddamn lunatic. People are going to like you. Basketball, I just find to be a little bit different. Team sport, first of all. Second of all, he said that way too late in the game too. You know?
Yeah.
If he had said it when he was 22, like, okay, now you get to prove it. You know, but I don't know. Like if you went to one of your friends' shows who's in a band and you were sitting off to the side and they got off stage and they're like, God, we just murdered those people. What would your reaction? You'd kind of be like, come on, guys. Come on, let's calm down. No? That wouldn't bother
I don't know.
you.
I don't think so, but I'm also not a musician.
But you have a problem with comedians saying it.
I don't know.
You wouldn't tell one of your friends to go, hey, dude. Hey, man. You sound a little too full of yourself right now. Go have a beer. Go calm down because you didn't murder anyone. I don't know. It's
basically just keep your ego to yourself. That's what you want.
I don't know. I guess it can be healthy in ways. I don't know.
Can it?
I mean, I have an ego, but I don't like talking about myself. Everyone has an ego a little bit. If you say you don't, you're a liar.
I mean, it's just confidence.
What are you confident about? Tell me.
I don't know.
Not externally with everyone, just internally. What are you confident? You don't know what you're confident about? You just say, I don't know.
I did. You
don't have things that you're confident in at all.
I mean, like, I guess work ethic. Does that count?
Okay. You're a hard worker.
Okay, there you go.
You're confident that you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
What do you have confidence in?
Nothing. I hate myself. Remember? I already told
you. You just ridiculed me because I couldn't give you an answer. And now you're like, I hate myself. I don't have confidence in anything. But you just said you have some ego. What is your ego towards? What is it geared towards?
My ego? I don't know.
What the fuck?
My ego is about, I don't know. I consider myself to be a humble person. I really don't like talking about myself. So I'm very proud of that.
Okay.
And I think it makes me call out people who are not, like I just did.
Okay.
Like those folks that think they murder.
I would say the same thing though. I'm never a guy who wants to really talk about himself.
Like I said, I will if you ask me. And again, it's a natural sort of instinct for you to be in a conversation with someone. And if you're talking about something that you're familiar with or you're passionate about, or you are slightly informed and it does somehow impact you or does relate to you, you're going to talk about it. But there's
what I hate is the people when you have conversations with them and you can just tell, like while you're talking, that they're ready to talk about themselves.
Oh, for sure.
That drives me insane. Like you can't, even if I'm not talking about myself, I'm just saying something, you can see it in their eyes that they're like just so ready to pounce on talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It drives me insane.
Yeah. It's that's a weird one. I don't know. I also just don't like, I like being somewhat private about the inner workings of my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to divulge too much especially to strangers or even like acquaintances. If you're a good friend of mine, you probably know everything about me, or at least most things. But like, because I know people, and I won't be specific here, but people who are close to me who will just like, but it's not an ego thing. It's not like a brag. It's just, they'll just talk about things out loud where I would go, I don't want them to know that about me. Don't say that. Like, but that's just, that's just how some people are. They just don't have I don't want to say they don't have a filter, but they don't, like I said, I'm very cautious about what people know about me. Because I think it comes with the anxiety of them like judging me for it. And I know people that they have that. I don't give a fuck about them
Well, you also don't like talking about yourself much. So it's like if you give people information about you, it's more fuel that you guys would talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And
Ultimately,
you know
I'm a
what?
hypocrite though, because
I'm the same way.
ultimately I'm a hypocrite though with this conversation because I am talking about myself right now, about how I don't like to talk about myself. It's the stupidest conversation I've ever been in, but whatever. I
I'm
get
glad
what
I
you're
could be a part of it.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the person who's like, yeah, you can tell. You can tell. That happened to you recently or something?
No, I've just been in that scenario and it drives me nuts.
Certain person, a couple of times.
Yeah, there's that.
Certain person we both know, a couple of times.
I don't know.
Okay, I was just trying to read you, but I can't. It's like
No,
a
but
book.
now you're making me curious. Is there somebody that we both know that does that a lot?
No. How me talk shit about someone? Come on.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me off the show out of all.
No, I don't have anyone in mind.
I
I
don't
was
believe
hoping
you.
you did.
I don't believe you at
So
all.
I could blame you. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's you really no, never mind. I won't do it. I was gonna
What?
name it. No, I won't do it.
What?
I
Oh.
won't do it. What do you think of the new Beartooth song?
The Fed Up. Is that right? Is that the name
Yeah.
of it? I like it. I liked all the songs so far.
I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I really at first they didn't bother me, but I really can't stand reactors on YouTube. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't understand why it's a thing. Like, why do I care that you listened to something and had a reaction about it, which
Isn't it
is
weird?
overdone anyways because you're doing a reaction video.
So, but some people, it's okay if they're charismatic and they're really like funny about it, that's fine. But like some people, the what's it called? The title will be like emo guy reacts to Machine Gun Kelly, and I'm like,
Right.
emo band reacts, or like vocal coach reacts to, like, fuck you. I saw one recently where it was like producer reacts to, they like dissected a full album and talked about I was like, are you like, are you not able to get work right now? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm qualified to react. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm not saying I'm qualified as a vocalist to react to vocals. Even if I was, I would not put out a video saying vocalist reacts to, like, I was like, to metal vocals, or vocalist reacts to, I don't know, Post Malone. What?
If somebody did a reaction video that broke down your entire album, would that piss you off? Even if it was like very positive.
Well, I don't know
And
if I would be pissed off about positivity, but
another question, would you share that on social media?
I'd probably share it if it was negative more so than if it was positive.
Why?
Sharing the positive could come off as a little bit pompous.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I probably share both. But no one's going to react to my shit.
I'm trying to see it from the side of like the musician who they are breaking down my stuff. Like, I guess positive or negative. And I guess it depends on if the people who are breaking it down is respectable. Like if they're a reputable source that's breaking it down.
Is anyone who's reputable actually reacting to something on YouTube, though? That's my point. Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, like, I have a vocal coach. If she started doing reaction videos, I'd have to go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Like, I would have to say that to her.
Do you really have a vocal coach? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gone to her in a long time, but I had. But for real, if I saw a reaction video from her, I would have to email her. I don't even know if I have her correct phone number for her anymore, but I would have to find some way of getting in touch with her and be like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You're better.
Well, I know this isn't something you want to talk about. And we don't have to. I'm just curious, like what does that vocal coach do for you? Like, how do they help you?
Well, I know how she helped me previously. I mean, I don't know if I think it's different for everyone. I mean,
Like,
there are several people that you and I know that have gone to her, I think at this point.
okay.
I can't remember who introduced me to her, but I want to say it was, it doesn't matter. Someone introduced me to her, and she's great. She's a really, really, really great person, really just cool person, talented as fuck, knows her shit. But well, at the time, the reason that I even started going was because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing as a vocalist. Like I didn't feel like I knew anything about technique. I didn't feel like I knew anything about breathing. I felt like I was doing things wrong. I was doing everything wrong to my voice at the time also.
So like what year are we talking here? Like how long ago?
Oh, this is 15 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit less time than that. But like when I started, yeah, I mean, we're in 2000, 12 years ago, probably.
Okay.
So like, but no, I just didn't know anything. I didn't know fucking shit about, I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I thought I was doing everything wrong. So I just wanted to know. And I, come to find out, yeah, I'm not really doing anything right necessarily. So she just taught me how to be, prepare myself for those moments where perhaps like my voice was not as strong as I wanted to be, how to breathe, which was super important because I was terrible at breathing. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I learned how to warm up, learned how to warm down. We didn't do anything. I've never heard stories of where a vocal coach makes you get nuts. But once I started going to her, I then started paying attention to other vocal coaches online and what they would have. And for like famous people, for like big people, like James Hetfield's vocal coach.
Gotcha.
Do you remember the show Making the Band?
Yeah.
Do you remember the group Day 26? They were the R&B group, the all male R&B group that they did one of the seasons. Anyway, I would watch that show and I would watch the vocal warm-ups that they would do and the vocal shit they would do. And I would be like, oh my God, that's a little bit more intense than what I do. But yeah, I mean, I've never seen someone get crazy with it where I was always like, okay, you're not a coach. You're like a drill instructor. This is different. I never really saw that, but I don't know. It was very interesting to do.
Well, it's like, I think things that people don't, like just casual music fans don't think about, like a lead singer of a band having a vocal coach and stuff like that. But now that you tell me what you kind of have to go through with it, it makes sense, especially for like a touring band who's in there, out there doing it day in and day out.
Yeah, dude, you got to learn.
And stuff like that. You've got to learn breathing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude, not just that. I mean, if you're on the road, yeah, I mean, you have to learn how to warm up, how to warm down, or you're going to fuck yourself up. It's just, yeah. And I honestly, I went through a period where I was destroying. I got really bad acid reflux, really bad. And I had to be medicated, not just like over the counter shit. I had to be medicated because of it, but in the process was still singing poorly because I didn't know what I was doing. I've had two periods in my life where I experienced that. And so one of them was recent. We weren't doing the podcast during the last block party, right?
No, we were not. But okay. I remember you saying that you actually went to the doctor before that, the block party.
I had to, man. I thought something was seriously wrong. Because one of the bands I was in, we got back together as a reunion for the block party. So I was singing more than I had been at the time. And fuck, dude, I started experiencing like intense pain in my throat. I was like, oh, fuck. So yeah, I had to go. And again, they put a fucking scope down my throat and looked at it. And they're like, no, you just have really terrible acid reflux. Have you had this before? I'm like, yep, once in my life. They go, yeah, you need to like start taking something for this ASAP and avoid all things that give it to you, or you're going to keep feeling this pain. I mean, you can obviously sing through the pain, but it will suck. It's like, yeah, I'm not really into the pain anymore. So
how does singing cause acid reflux?
Well, singing doesn't necessarily cause it.
Okay.
Acid reflux will get caused by your diet more than anything else, diet and stress.
Right.
But singing with it is really bad for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Little Richard. That's almost his career almost got destroyed because of that. That's why he has that weird raspiness to his voice, is because he had really bad acid reflux and would continue to. Yeah. He has really. There's a couple people, Little Richard, and there's another really famous one that I can't think of right now. But same thing happened to them. Yeah, a lot of people go through it. It's just not. Oh well, the dude, what's his name from Papa Roach? I mean, he's had multiple surgeries because he's had nodules on his vocal cords multiple times.
A while back, that you were actually on that Uproar tour, where they bailed after the St. Louis show because he had strained a vocal cord or something along those lines and had to have surgery done.
No, he had nodes. He had to get them removed. Oh, that's like a singer's worst fear, is getting those, because it's fucked. And that's what I thought I had wrong with me recently. I was like, if I fucking, and it wouldn't have been life crushing by any means. I just got to take care of and whatever. But either way. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of that other person, but I can't. I'll think of it. The dude from Papa Roach is a good one though, because he had but he also was like a self-admitted, like just did everything he could to destroy his voice, and that's was one of the main. At least I've read this is one of his main motivations about getting sober was he's a fucking drunk, and I mean he just couldn't fucking sing because he was always either A, drunk, or if he wasn't drunk, fucking hungover.
Right.
And, he was a big Screwdriver guy. I remember reading that also. And that orange juice is just
acidic as hell.
Oh my God, dude. The worst thing you can do.
Ugh.
Yeah. So shout out to Juliet Jackson. I know she's not listening, but that was my coach. She was just shit. Fucking awesome lady, man. Awesome. Yeah. She's worked with quite a few people that, and again, I think it just depends. That's one of my greatest regrets, is like, that was the first any sort of like formal training I ever got in music, and I kind of, I don't know if I regret it, but in a way, I still want to go back and learn, like I said, I think I've said this on the podcast, like I want to take piano lessons. I want my son to take piano lessons because my parents are moving soon and we are getting their piano, which I'm really excited about having one in the house.
Nice.
Yeah. And, I know it would take a lot. It would take a lot of, I don't know what it would take from me, but it would take some sort of me getting rid of something in my brain, but getting guitar lessons even would be probably good for me. It's good for your brain. Yeah. That's my biggest regret, is I waited until I was an adult to get any sort of formal training at all. But I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people that are self-taught and just,
yeah,
way better than me at anything that are all, they're self-taught and just fucking phenomenal,
Yeah. Guess it's just hard to, once you try to go get training, because you may have to pretty much relearn stuff, right?
Yeah. I think I would put it more, not relearn, but break bad habits.
Yeah. Right.
But maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I always like, I didn't grow up around classically trained musicians. I always grew up around people that were like me, who just kind of taught themselves and just started playing because they thought it was cool, and they just learned, Yeah. And those are some of the best. I'll put them up against anyone who's classically trained, man. I mean, dude, I know some fucking guys who are really goddamn good at what they do and never took a fucking lesson. Never learned to read music. Never did. He just, and they know more about the technique and the craft than I do. That was also something that bored me. Was like, again, shamefully, I admit that. I'm not saying that with pride by any means. Like, I'm not proud that I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna do it my way. But
that's just a younger mindset, I think.
Yeah, possibly. Like, who's your favorite guitar player? If you had to pick one, or not even favorite, just who do you think's fucking awesome? Who do you think just?
Sinister Gates.
Okay, that's a perfect example. I'd be curious to know. He might be a classically trained guy.
I could see that he is.
A lot of those metal dudes, man, those fucking guys. Maybe that's not a good example, but that's a fucking perfect example of, I don't know. I left my phone in the other room, so now I can't Google it, but I'd be curious to know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good example. That dude, the singer of that band of Avenged Sevenfold.
Shadows, M Shadows.
Yeah, he was had real problems with his voice and had to train himself to do it the right way and had to avoid. He's another one, and Jesse Leach from Killswitch. I know he basically stopped singing in Killswitch because he couldn't handle the tour life. Like, it was just killing. He blamed it a lot on, this was back still doing clubs, and you could, like, the audience could smoke in the venues. And he was just like, dude, after years of just breathing in secondhand smoke, he's just like, my voice is, I don't know how much that had to do with it. It probably had something to do with it. And it's kind of weird to think about that now. Fucking going to concerts and everyone's smoking, and so that just seems like, I don't know. It seems odd. Like, if you walked into a place now and it was all smoky, you'd be like, God, I gotta get out of here. Fuck. Never bothered me before, but now it does.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. There's a St. Louis band that had a lead singer for years, and I think had issues with his vocal cords or throat or something. And his doctor told him that he needed to stop putting his voice through so much, or his vocal cords through so much stress. And he's still in the band, but they had to bring in a new lead singer.
He's still in the band, but they had to bring in a new lead singer?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, because City of Parks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about them.
Pretty sure that's correct. Or at least that's what somebody told me. And it makes sense.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did he tell you that? Or did someone in the band tell you that? Or just someone just fucking spreading stories?
No, somebody, I don't remember. Somebody at a block party told me that at one point.
Huh. God damn, that sucks too. Because when did that happen to him? How old is he?
Yeah, they're pretty young.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, he's still good at what he does. He's still, I'm saying, as a member of the band who doesn't sing and plays an instrument, he's still obviously really good at what he does.
Yeah, for sure.
So, didn't they just put out something new? Or is it out yet or coming out?
I think they put out a new EP maybe a couple of months ago.
That's what I thought.
Rinse, Repeat, or something like
that.
Yes,
that's right. Yep, you're right.
Let me double check that since we already named them. I want to make sure that I'm promoting them well.
Yeah, let's promote it. People should go listen to it.
Yeah, it's just called Rinse, Repeat. City of Parks.
Do it. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here.